on this story, we cross now to my colleague Mbongeni Muthwa, our Labour reporter. He's been in Johannesburg since this morning covering the strike. Mbongeni, what's happening where you are?
Well, we are standing outside the offices of the Minerals Council, formerly the Chamber of Mines, where the COSATU and FEDUSA contingent has just delivered the memorandum to an official from the Minerals Council, and from here they've moved back to the Premier's office, the Premier of Gauteng, Mr. David Makhura, to hand over memorandum there. It was confusing earlier on because normally the route passes the Premier's office, the route to where we are here, and normally they would stop at the Premier's office and memorandum there before they come to the Minerals Council. But this time around, they passed the office, came here, and now they've gone back to the Premier's office. Also to note is that SABC are not joining with the COSATU and FEDUSA protesters. They are following their own program. They have their own track, their own soundtrack. After the COSATU and FEDUSA people finished here and moved on, the SABC people, I'm not sure if you can see, I'll step out of the shot, down the street there. It's a long procession of SABC members who are marching past the Minerals Council building at the back. We are not sure exactly where they are heading. We're not sure exactly what their stops would have been, whether they've gone to the Premier's office, where they plan to go there or not. Or maybe here they're going to hand over the memorandum at the back of the building, but they are not moving together with the COSATU and FEDUSA people. At the press briefing that SABC had on Monday, in the build-up to today, they did say that they had not managed to agree on a joint platform as the federations, even though they are working together in terms of today's process action. They have common demands as the unions, but in terms of addressing a joint platform, that has not been the case, and it's not the case at the moment. So that's an interesting development that we are observing at the moment, Nombo.
In terms of the Minerals Council, what exactly were the contents of the memorandum that was delivered there?
Well, the content was mainly around the grievances of industrial workers. As you know, the Minerals Council, of course, traditionally is the backbone of the South African economy, of the private sector. The entire economy of South Africa was built around mining, and it's still very much connected and reliant on mining. So whenever unions have economic demands that they want to make, they always make a stop here at the old Chamber of Mines, now the Minerals Council. So they were talking about, what workers in the industrial sector of the economy are facing, massive retrenchment that have gone on over there. We saw the numbers coming out of SABC for the second quarter. We're talking massive retrenchment that have happened in manufacturing and other in the private sector. So the memorandum was focused mainly on that. Now they move on to the Premier's office, where the memorandum is going to be focused mainly around the public sector grievances that these unions have in terms of what's going on over there, the refusal of the government to implement the 2018 wage agreement and give public sector workers a 7% increase, the lack of PPE in hospitals as the pandemic ravages the country and health workers are exposed. Of course, it must be said, we must note this, that the numbers that have come out for today's action, they must be very concerning to the health authorities who are busy trying to fight the spread of the pandemic. As things stand, we are talking over 5,000 people that have turned up for this demonstrations here in Joburg alone. If you put the Kosathu, Fedusa, Nakchu and Safchu people together, it's well over 5,000 people. Most of them, no mask to be seen anywhere, especially the ones that are very keen on singing and dancing. And most of the people, of course, who have the masks, but they don't have them over their nose and mouths. So that must be really concerning. Kosathu was aware of this, hence they made that call to say that, you know, unlike before, we're not going to have marches, we must stay at home, but that did not happen, and thousands of people have been allowed to come out here in buses and taxis and in cars, and the consequence is that from a pandemic perspective, the scenes that we've seen here must be a cause for concern, Nombo.
Thanks very much, Mbongeni, for that report. Worrying indeed.